Hey, it's Jim. It's Monday evening of November 14th. We're just going to talk a little bit about some of the chamfering and stuff that either we do or that is done on on cylinders. There's lots of other guys doing stuff on the internet, so I'm just one more guy, I guess. But anyways, for anybody that is getting into this and giving it a try, kind of key places that we want to make sure that we're not going to hang anything up or prematurely wear components. So want to make sure that as we're doing work on this cylinder, then that we're not going to end up creating wear points for either the piston skirt on the base of the cylinder, and then the potential for hanging a ring in the actual cylinder ports themselves, whether it's the intake or exhaust ports or our transfer ports. So yeah, I hope this will focus. Maybe it'll be better if I put it down, so you can kind of see here how nicely this is done. There's a lot of different tools you can use if you're using a Dremel, whether you're going to be using an abrasive bit to clean that up with after. Again, we want to try and make sure that we're not peeling or lifting our plating off, so just be careful how your tool is spinning in there. There's little abrasive flap wheels that also can work pretty good. You can get these guys. These ones are usually pretty coarse, but if you're looking for kind of an intermediate step between your burr tools when you're doing stuff and finishing things up, then that might be good. Some of these ones here with the industrial diamond impregnated, I found them quite good, especially if I'm working on highway cylinders. I've tried to make sure that I don't use the burr bits on them. Their plating's hard, but it also seems to be brittle, and you can chip it off pretty easy. So, but yeah, and there's always a variety of these abrasive ones. So if there's places that you're trying to put a chamfer on, say inside some of the other ports when you do them, some of these oddball shaped ones actually can be quite handy if you if you don't have a 90-degree tool to get in there with, and you're just kind of getting into this, then you can definitely make do and just take your time, be creative. Also, pay attention to the rotation of your tool. If it catches something and takes off, try and be ready for it. But if you manipulate the direction of the rotation of it, then you can pretty much anticipate which way it's going to try and go, so that you don't end up scuffing a whole bunch of the work, especially in the upper portion of the chamber where it is actually going to be important for it not to be all marked up, for it to build compression up there. So I went and grabbed this other one. I don't know whether or not I'll end up using it, but I'm just gonna try and show a little bit of exhaust port, especially shape. For me, I like the rounded exhaust port shape. I know for a fact that everything moves a lot more freely through a round pipe you reduce the amount of eddying versus in a square thing where you're going to have a lot of it. And so I round mine over a lot. One of the things for especially cleaning up your exhaust ports that works good is having something like this, and you can get longer ones. I just made this one. I just cut it with like a zip disc. But as your dremel spins around, this gets into any of the irregularities. It goes into the corners and stuff really good, so you can really clean things up. And I have a variety of different textures of one's stuck emery cloth. So whether it's oh man, this is gonna suck here. The 120 to start with, to 220. What's this one? 320, I think. Yeah, and then you can go as fine as you want. We've got some 600, 800, even 2000. It's kind of sitting underneath what the camera's sitting on right now here, but so yeah, it just all depends how much time you want to put into it. But you do get to a point where your effort isn't really going to give you much benefit to it. So I know there's a couple guys on there that are really renowned builders, and you know, they talk about not going much past about 300 to 600 for any of the stuff they're doing. Intake, you'll end up hearing different theories there. Everybody comes at this from a different angle, so literally and figuratively. Some guys want rough to keep your oil in suspension with your mix. I'm starting to think that the way Donny Walker does his with the smoother finish in there is maybe a little better idea, because I'd actually prefer that a lot of my oil settles out so that I'm getting better lubrication in the bottom end and on a piston. And eventually it's going to go out anyway, but if it's lubricating everything that it should on the way in, then maybe that's going to help durability and stuff too. So yeah, all kinds of different theories, eh? Another thing, I guess, with some of this stuff, some guys will think, you know, opening, see your intake, pour it up as wide as you can, is going to give you lots of benefit too. It may or may not. There's mixed theories on that stuff too. You don't need to take this super thin, because when you look inside your intake manifold boot, that's kind of where the restrictions are anyways. So going much past that, immediately you're going to end up with a bit of a void there, and then it might end up creating kind of a back eddy as this comes into. So, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of different bits and stuff that you can find. Like I said, if you're going to start with just Amazon or using your Dremel, then you know, you can find a pretty good selection out there too. One thing that I'll mention, and I actually got this from watching Mitch Webber, MWEBA1 on YouTube, is just having something to dunk your bits in with a good amount of two-stroke oil in it, and it actually really prevents stuff from building up. So you can keep your bits looking very, very clean. They don't plug up. Other guys will just keep going at it, and they'll see that if they go very fast with theirs, then they'll start to plug up. But if you just keep dipping it in your mix oil, you can cut at whatever speed you want to. So it keeps them from plugging up. For any of the real kind of specialty stuff that a guy wants to get into, if you're gonna really be working your transfers and stuff, then you probably want to look at going to something a bit more expensive and more like a Jacob's chuck type bit on it, so you can really get in there. Yeah, there's so many guys, like I said. I'll list a few of them in the details on here of guys I've found really helpful, and everybody's got different points, so you can kind of see what everybody else has got to offer and come up with an idea yourself. These ones also work quite good with the sort of Scotch-Brite type stuff on them, especially on some of the bigger ones. You can get in there and do a pretty nice job too. Found these ones, I think I get 4 different textures or colors. So anyways, yeah, here to help. If you've got questions or whatever, then shoot me a message, and I'll see what I can do to help you out. So it for me is a hobby, having a lot of fun with it. One thing I picked up from Charles Brisco is whenever you're doing your port machining, if you're going to deck a cylinder anyways, play with opening up and changing your heights and all that kind of stuff before you actually run this on the lathe. And that way, if you end up with any little gouges or whatever else, you're going to be removing that, machining that down anyways, because you're adjusting the squish, which is the clearance of the piston at the top. So so you can clean this stuff up after you've finished if there is any gouges or damage that's going to happen. I think this one here was one of these bits that was in here, and then the head of the chuck ended up touching this and I didn't notice it. But anyway, like I was saying, if you're shaving that down anyways, then no harm, no foul kind of thing. If you do this decking after, if you do it first, then you kind of got a bit of a wreck there, right? So anyways, okay, have a good evening.